Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Diane, your libido doc. We're talking today about annoying thoughts during sex. Does your mind wander? It's really hard to be present. It's really hard to enjoy pleasure if your mind's wandering. So we're going to talk about the wandering mind during sex and what to do about it today. We're also going to talk about the top things that tend to happen to the male brain versus the female brain during sex. And one of the biggest things to remember in all of this is that this is incredibly common. You are not alone, and there's things you can do. So let's first talk about the common things that infiltrate the masculine versus the feminine mind during sex. And then when we're done with this, we're going to talk about what you can do about it, like I said. So what we see in research is the most common thing that occurs when a man is distracted during sex is something to do with performance. It's something to do with anxiety over their own performance. Are they adequately pleasing their lover? Are they going to have something happen that threw them off last time? So it's really related to how well are they doing. So their mind is wondering. That is the most common thing that's happening is, how am I doing? How am I performing? That's what they're tracking. The most common thing that tends to distract women during sex is body image, right? Do my hips look big in this position? Do I have fat rolls in this position? Oh my goodness, look at how my chin's gonna look from that angle. All of those types of things, right? And so one of the biggest problems with this is anytime we are distracted by these things, it is actually diminishing our capacity to orgasm and to enjoy pleasure. Some of the best orgasms, and then we're going to get into what you can do about it here in a moment. But I want to take a moment to say that the best orgasms we often see occur when we can be so tuned into the senses of our body and we draw out that pleasure zone, that heightened pleasure zone, without going over the edge. So if head is a climax, some of the best orgasms are often experienced when people just hang for long as possible in that 7, 8, 9 zone, right? Where there's a maximum amount of pleasure and there's that drive to actually push over to orgasm, and then you don't do it, or at least not yet. Now, the way we do that is we stay really in touch with the body. We actually relax our body oftentimes even more, right? Especially as women, the more that you can relax your body during that time period instead of constricts, the more easily you will tend to be able to play in that zone. Sometimes relaxing your body too can prevent so much squeezing on the male genitalia, and because of that, sometimes that can help men to not go over the edge as well. So with this, right, one of the things is we have to be present in order to stay in that zone, because it is regulating our sensations so microscopically, like so in these like millimeter types of movements. So in order to do all this, for all the ladies listening, the more that you can not worry about this position in your fat rolls or that position in your side, and really begin to cultivate a just more accepting body image. And for men, or for whoever the ladies partnered are, one of the most helpful things for this from a standpoint of providing is really encouraging the woman to feel beautiful in all of the positions. The more feedback you can give her around like, oh yeah, your butt looks great in this position and I just love this, and just, the compliments and the beauty and all of these things, that can go a long way to help a woman who's maybe gotten out of her body and is not feeling the sensation, is not present, and is in her head. It can go a long way with actually getting that woman back into her body. So one of the things I say a lot is the practice of presence is directly related to the practice of pleasure. And that is because in order to experience the sensations of pleasure, we can't be thinking about body image. We can't be thinking about how we are performing. So in the conversation around solutions, what do we do if your mind is wandering? Remember that what is happening in the bedroom is oftentimes a reflection of what is happening outside of the bedroom personally and with our lover. So if you find your mind wandering during sex, actually a great place to practice this is outside of the bedroom, really having a practice like, what am I thinking about? What am I thinking about? What am I thinking about? So simple things such as setting a notification on your phone every 15 minutes. And when the notification goes off, take a moment to think, What am I thinking about? Am I thinking about what I'm doing right now, or is my mind off in la la land? And of course, there's time for our minds to vision and dream and explore, but the practice, what we're doing here is we're practicing coming back to ourselves. So the more that we realize during sex, the more that we can catch it. So it's not saying this is never going to happen, but the more that we can practice catching, oh, there was my mind on body. There was my mind on how am I performing. The more we can catch those things and that the mind wandering in real time, the more we can say, actually, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to come back into my body. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to feel the sensations. I'm going to put my lover hands on me, and I'm going to actually be present in this moment. And the more we can practice that in our real life, sitting on our chair, having these cues go off on our phone that remind us, oh yeah, think about where I am right now. Like that is the point of that cue, is that alarm on the phone, is that when that goes off, it's about, okay, how do I get myself back to this moment? And we do that through our senses most easily, by looking around the room, by listening to the sounds, by feeling things under our body, under our feet. These are how we get back into our body. These are how we bring ourselves back into the present. So one of the biggest things is that when we do that in our day-to-day life, when we practice that in our day-to-day life, that will directly translate into your sex life, right? It translates very, very, very nicely into what you're doing in the bedroom, because it's still a practice of my mind went away. Now I'm going to bring my mind back. So one exercise, and I learned this exercise from Kate Northrup, who teaches a lot about the impacts of our nervous system on all sorts of things in life, like our money. And one of the things that she teaches that I love is like a hand exercise, where what you're doing is you basically are taking one hand and you're rubbing the other hand. Because so you have one hand that's like kind of the giver and the other hand that's the receiver. And when you do this, you're practicing with your brain, putting all your awareness on what it's like to be the hand that is moving, the giver. And you do that a few times. And then you practice, okay, now I'm going to put my mind on only the receiver hand. And then I basically put all of my awareness on like, wow, what is it like to receive? Because these are both your own hands, you do really have to pay attention to, oh, now I'm focusing extra hard on the giver hand. Now I'm focusing extra hard on the receiver hand. And what allows you to do, the practice of this, and there's many other exercises like this, but the practice of this is about getting back into the moment. Because if my mind is thinking so hard and on giver versus receiver hand, it's not wandering off into whatever la la land it feels like wandering into in the moment. And so we do exercises like this as cues, and we use the cues on our phone, those alarms and things, to do exercises like this to help us remember to be present in that moment, to practice being in that moment, so that we can more easily then move into the same sort of activity of bringing back to the sensations in the bedroom. So in the bedroom, we're not going to, do this with our hands, but the more we practice and like, oh yeah, my mind wandered, I got to bring it back. Then what we find is that in the bedroom, one of the things we find is that it's easier for our mind to then return to, where are my lover's hands, right? Where is my lover's mouth? Are we in the middle of penetration, and feeling and bringing your body back to, how does this innately feel, right? So what we're doing is we're just bringing ourselves back into the moment throughout the day, over and over and over again, which translates into the bedroom, so that if we have those annoying thoughts, we bring our mind back. This is another way I talk a lot about how sex and intimacy actually is a form of meditation. This is a mindfulness-based stress activity. In my opinion, one of the best mindfulness-based stress activities, because we have to be 100% here. We have to be 100% in the here and now to really deeply enjoy this and to really deeply get that level of fulfillment. Please do subscribe to my channel, everybody. Please do look in the show notes to get my quiz on low libido and what are the root causes of it and what tests you can ask your doctor for. That's at libidoquiz.com. Ciao for now.